So, the Hlinka Cup is behind us. We're right around the corner from training camp. Hockey season is just around the corner. So now is as good a time as ever to make my preliminary predictions for Team Canada's World Junior roster. Now, this will be my first take on this. I will also be putting out a video on this closer to December about when the season's getting closer to it. So again, we'll have a better idea as to who's in and who isn't. But as of this moment in time, here's who I got. And I think it's a great idea to do it now because the Hlinka changed some things as to whom some people have forced their way in. So, ever since winning back-to-back golds in 2022, 2023, it's been a bit tough sledding for the Maple Leaf of the World Juniors. The 2024 and 2025 teams were just awful. In word, by Team Canada standards, awful. And I don't think anyone can sit up here and argue that with me. The 2026 team, I really enjoyed. That was one of my favorite Team Canadas that I've ever gotten a chance to see. I have a bit of sentimental value because I actually went to the World Junior training camp and I got a bunch of them to sign a jersey for me. So, that doesn't hurt their standings with me. And yeah, they were just a fun team to watch. High-powered offense, and it fell apart in the game against the Czechs. But other than that, and there still doesn't change how I feel about them. One of the best teams that we have ever sent. However, this year's team I find to be quite interesting. So let's start with the goalies. Now, the goaltending was pretty easy for me. For starter, you have Jack Ivankovic. Jack Ivankovic is the biggest lock on the team for me. The man is a brick wall. One of my favorite goalie prospects I've seen Hockey Canada have in over a decade. I was just trying to think of anyone who I would be as confident in as I am in Jack Ivankovic. The man is a brick wall. I cannot say enough good things about him. If the fate of the world was on the line and I needed a save, I would be comfortable with Jack Ivankovic in net for me to make that save. At backup, you have Lucas Beckman. Lucas Beckman was Jack Ivankovic's backup at the U18s when they won gold in 2025. And Lucas Beckman's really, really good. If he was in any other age year, he would be the starter at some point. But he just so happens to be on the team at the same time as Jack Ivankovic. But yeah, Lucas Beckman and Ivankovic will be the best tandem in the tournament, hands down. Now, third string, bit more wide open. Starter and backup were pretty locked solid. Third string's where you get to have a bit of fun. There were some guys that I had gave consideration to. I thought about Sam Malochet, thought about Leaf Otten. I know I've been critical of him, but Jordan Binnington kind of proved that you win a big game and you get a little bit of leeway with Hockey Canada, and Leaf Otten won a big game, so you got to put him in consideration. Carter Esler. Carter Esler was another one I gave serious consideration to. I've liked his performances at the Hlinkas and U18s in the past, but I think this isn't his time. Next year, Carter Esler will give serious chase for the starting role. And of course, Gavin Betts was another one who I thought of in contention. Another guy, pretty strong pedigree from Hlinkas and U18s. But ultimately, for the third string goalie, I've decided to go with William Lassell. The fact that Lassell didn't get drafted this year is mind-boggling to me. Put up tremendous numbers in the queue. Yeah, I think William Lassell is your third-string goalie. So we're running with Ivankovic, Beckman, and Lassell for your goaltending trio. And yeah, find me another country that's going to be bringing better than that. I don't think you can. Now, defense. Defense was another one where we're pretty lock solid. I don't think there's going to be too much debate as to who we're taking, with exception for the last spot. So, first of all, we have Landon Dupont. Goes without saying, especially after what I saw at the Hlinka, what we saw in the WHL last year, he's just so much better than anyone else in his age range. Landon Dupont is the man. He doesn't have to do anything. His spot on the team is locked in. Jackson Smith. I have Jackson Smith on the team as well. I've always been a big fan of Jackson Smith's game. I know there are some people who are lower on him than I am, but me personally, I would have had Jackson Smith on the team last year instead of Cameron Reed. And who knows? Jackson Smith might have been enough to get us over the top. But no, I had Jackson Smith, apologies, on my team last year. Keaton Veerhoff I have on the team. Another guy like Leaf Otten, who I brought up earlier, who I have been very critical of, but I think with another year of seasoning, another year of development, and with him falling in the draft, I think he's had the summer to sort of sit back and reflect on what he needs to work on and what went wrong. I think he will come back with a vengeance this year. So Keaton Veerhoff's there. Carson Carroll's, in my opinion, the best defenseman in the 2026 draft class. Carson Carroll is on the team. He's all heart. He's all motor. Solid two-way defenseman. Carson Carroll will be on my team any day of the week. Cameron Reed. I know I just shit on him a bit, but Cameron Reed makes the team. He's solid. Cameron Reed, for me, doesn't really do anything that wows me, but he also doesn't do anything that makes me pull my hair out either. I think he's a solid hand, solid bottom pair defenseman. So, yeah, I will take Cameron Reed on my team for this one. Daxon Rudolph. If you want some offense, some pop, someone who can help run that power play, Daxon Rudolph is a good option. And, again, he blew up last year, ended up going 4th overall to the Sabres, and he's going to get more season at the University of Denver this year. So give me Daxon Rudolph. Ryan Lynn. Ryan Lynn is one of the smartest players out there that you're going to find. And he is another guy who is solid in his own end, and he's solid on offense, and put up great performances for Hockey Canada in the past, at Holinkas and U18s in the past. So Ryan Lynn is another one who's a personal favorite of mine. I will take Ryan Lynn. And now, with the last pick number 8, because you bring 8 defensemen and 14 forwards, this is where I had some debate. Alex Wong was strongly considered, because I am a huge fan of Alex Wong's game, but ultimately, by a hair, Xavier Villeneuve gets the final spot for me, because Xavier Villeneuve is box office. If he hits, he's Lane Hudson. Xavier Villeneuve is just incredible magician with the puck. He's a great distributor, and he just ultimately has that next level offensive potential that, as good as Alex Wong is, he doesn't have. So for your defenseman, Xavier Villeneuve rounds out the defense core. Now we have the forwards. Now, there's some caveats here. Obviously, with Hockey Canada, you're never going to be able to bring everybody you would like to the World Juniors, because ultimately there are guys who are going to be playing in the NHL. So that's why on this team there was no Matthew Schaefer on defense, and there's going to be no Ben Kindle or no Gavin McKenna, because there's unless something extraordinary happens that I don't anticipate, those guys will be in the NHL. Michael Misa as well. That's another one who, again, barring some freak occurrence, will be playing in the NHL and will not be at the World Juniors. So those guys I didn't even consider. Now, there are 4 guys on the forward group who could be in the NHL next year that I still have on the team, because I think the way I looked at it was, if I thought it was 50-50 or better that they'd be available, I included them on the list. So I'll go with the 4 that I have. I'll start with who I'm most confident will be there, and then we'll work our way through the 4. Jake O'Brien I have on the team. Now, he has signed his ELC. He could be on Seattle next year, but Seattle is notorious for bringing prospects along very, very slowly and not giving them a lot of ice time. So I think Jake O'Brien has a very good chance of being available for us. So I kept Jake O'Brien on the team. Braden Coots I have on the team. Slightly, in my opinion, less likely to be available than... Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. Slightly less likely to be available than Jake O'Brien. But Coots could make Vancouver. I think he's talented enough to, but ultimately I don't see the point, because Vancouver has 1 goal this year, and that's to finish last. And by bringing in Braden Coots, the last thing you want is for him to just go through the drug of a season that's not going to go well and potentially ruin his confidence or him get hurt or anything like that. So I see Braden Coots as available. Now, the next two guys, it's a bit more dicey. I have Brady Martin on the team. Brady Martin is probably my favorite player in hockey right now. Hits anything that moves, is incredible offensively, and I will 100% believe till the day I die, if Brady Martin doesn't dislocate his shoulder against the Czechs, we win that game. Brady Martin was the finisher on the line with Hage and McKenna. He was the trigger man. So if Brady Martin is there, they win. I 100% believe they win. Give me Brady Martin. Again, there is a chance he's on Nashville. But Nashville is in the spot where they're in the mushy middle, like Seattle, where they think that they can make a run. So they are probably less inclined to give someone like a Brady Martin ice time right away. So I could see him being available. Now, the fourth and last guy who could potentially be in the NHL that I threw on here is the guy who I'm least confident in to be available, and that's Caleb Denoyer. Caleb Denoyer can be your first-line power play quarterback. Caleb Denoyer could be the best player on the team in the event he's available. Question is, does he get that third or fourth-line center spot in Utah from the jump? Because Utah made the playoffs last year, expectations have been raised. So is that going to be enough for Denoyer to be put on the back burner and get sent back to the AHL this year and see what he can do there? In the event he does, we absolutely take him. I think he's the best player on the team, but I would say he's the one where it's 50-50. I could see a world where he goes to the NHL. I could see a world where he goes back to play in the World Juniors. But I'm hoping he's there. So those are the four guys who could be in the NHL that I've decided to take anyways. Just because, again, I think it's 50-50 or better that they'll be available. Now let's get into the guys who are 100% going to be available. Give me Cole Reshny. Cole Reshny, whenever he puts the Maple Leaf on, just turns into a superstar. This unbelievable goal-scoring machine whenever he's there. He's going to be at North Dakota this year. He'll 100% be available. In the event that your Martins and your Denoyers are going to be in the NHL and not at the World Juniors, Reshny's going to be your top offensive player. Reshny's going to be the guy who's going to be able to carry the team, and I think he's talented enough to pull it off. Caleb Malhotra is also on the team. Caleb Malhotra is a solid two-way center. He's going to BU this year, and there's a chance that Caleb Malhotra will be even higher on the priority list for next year's World Junior team. But yeah, Caleb Malhotra is 100% a lock for the team. Give me Jack Nesbitt as well. Jack Nesbitt is a physical two-way forward. He's huge. He's 6'4", and I think Jack Nesbitt will give you that little bit of sandpaper that you need. I've also taken Dima Zhilkin. Dima Zhilkin is one of the most skilled players going into this year's draft, and he is another guy that whenever he puts the Maple Leaf on, just becomes an absolute superstar. Give me Dima Zhilkin. He is one of my favorite players. He's one of the few guys at the U18s this year for Canada who actually had a good showing, because not a lot of people did. I'm taking Ethan Belchetz as well. Another one, big power forward. You're going to outsize some people with him and Jack Nesbitt on the team. That's going to be a lot of size that I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to match up well with. So give me Ethan Belchetz. I'm taking Maddox Dagenet as well. Again, I went very, very skill-based for my team, but Maddox Dagenet is another one who's a huge hitter like Brady Martin. He'll hit anything that moves, and I'm hoping that he takes another step forward in his offense this year. I have also taken the Ruck brothers. I know they weren't invited to the Summer Showcase for whatever reason, but 100% give me the Ruck brothers. If you put the two of them together, you are going to get magic. And on a short tournament like this, chemistry matters. You're hoping that guys come together quickly and learn to play together. These two already know how to do that, and you know that they know how to do that. They always know where the other one is on the ice, so I think there is no risk in bringing the Ruck brothers. I personally would have drafted them at 15 and 16 if I was St. Louis in the event that they didn't move those picks. So, yeah, I'm very high on the Ruck brothers. And that leaves us with 2 spots left. Now, there were some heavy considerations. I considered Ryan Rubrick very heavily. It's just, I ended up giving his spot to Maddox Dagenet because Ryan Rubrick is 6'4", 215, but he just doesn't use it. Ryan Rubrick is not physical at all, and there are times where I've seen him get bullied off the puck, which at that size, playing in the OHL, that shouldn't happen. So Ryan Rubrick missed out. Shea Bush was an intriguing option. He had like 13 goals in 11 games last year in the WHL, but then again, that's the point, isn't it? He only played those 11 games. Got off to a hot start, but I'll be curious to see if it is sustainable at a full season. And Tynan Lawrence was another one that was considered. I'm just lower on Tynan Lawrence than most people are. Again, I will forgive his weak season at BU because he jumped in halfway through the season, didn't have a chance to gel with the team, didn't get to go through training camp with the team. So I'm willing to forgive that, but he underperformed at the U18s, and he's underperformed at the Hlinka in the past. So I'm lower on Tynan Lawrence than most people are. He'll be on the team next year, but for this year, the last 2 spots, if you watched the Hlinka, you know who they're going to. Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh. Now look, I get it. There is inherent risk with taking 2 16-year-olds to a U20 tournament. But you need to take the birth certificate out of it. You take the best players available. Don't worry about what the birth certificate says. And I truly believe that is what cost Team Canada the gold medal at the Olympics last year. Because you cared, in my opinion, too much about what the birth certificate said. You had locked yourself into taking either Celebrini or Bedard instead of taking them both. And you had too many guys that were seen better days and were slow. Same thing on defense. You mean to tell me Matthew Schaefer wouldn't have been able to give you that little extra something that you needed in overtime against the Americans? And how many times did we see plays just die on the sticks of Sanheim and Parayko? My point is this. I don't care that there's 16. You take the best players available, and you cannot tell me that there are 14 better Canadian forwards that will be available at World Junior time that are better than Liam Pugh and better than Maddox Schultz. You can't do it. So yeah, at 16 years old, both of those 2 are making the team, and I don't think those 2 will be taxi squad. I don't think those are going to be the 2 guys sitting in the press box eating popcorn. I think they have a real chance to make a hard impact on this tournament. And that is my roster. I went very skill-based because I believe in tournaments like the World Juniors or the Olympics, it is a glorified all-star game. What I mean by that is not a diminishing of stakes, as in you take the best guys. Everyone is going to be so skilled that trying to play 4D chess and take a checking line, it's not going to work when every line can be stacked top to top with point-per-game players. So I went very skill-based, and on the forward end, I don't care about, you took so many centers. I don't care. At this level, with as skilled as these guys are, I don't think it's unreasonable to say, you play wing. You take the best players you can, and then you figure it out. Take the best guys and then figure out who plays the wing afterwards. Because these guys are talented enough that they will be able to do it. So in conclusion, the team for goaltenders, Jack Ivankovich, Lucas Beckman, and William Lassell. On defense, Lennon DuPont, Jackson Smith, Keaton Vierhoff, Carson Carrolls, Cameron Reed, Daxon Rudolph, Ryan Lynn, and Xavier Villeneuve. On the forward end, we have Cole Reshny, Caleb Malhotra, Braden Coots, Caleb Denoyer, Brady Martin, Jake O'Brien, Jack Nesbitt, Dima Zhilkin, Ethan Belschetz, Maddox Dagenet, Liam Ruck, Marcus Ruck, Maddox Schultz, and Liam Pugh. Those are the guys based on what will realistically be available that I would take, and yeah, that team looks as good as gold to me. But let me know who I missed out on. Let me know who would be on your team in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again soon.